Now that you created your podcast, you're going to want to export it so that you can either send it to someone, post it on a website, or upload it to iTunes. So once you have your podcast finished, you go up to share. And then you see you have your options here. So just like iMovie, Garageband, this is how you export or share. You can send the podcast directly to iTunes. You can send it to iWeb, but I would just export the podcast to disk. What that means is that you're just going to be placing it on your computer, on your desktop. So select that. Now here you get some choices. We have AAC encoder, MP3 encoder. This is just going to be the type of file that gets produced. And you may have to look at your specific need. If you're embedding it into a website, what kind of does it allow? Typically AAC, MP3, they're going to work for most of the formats that you need. If I select MP3, I'm really just going to see that I don't get to do the artwork. It's probably going to be a little different quality, not exactly worse, but just different. So I could do MP3 encoder, and then I could look and see I get some options here. And this will relate more to the quality of it. So if I do higher quality, that's going to be a larger file size, which is going to take a little bit longer to export. It's going to take a little bit longer to upload and then download. Musical is a little bit less than the highest quality, but still pretty good quality. So I'm going to pick MP3 and do that. If I picked AAC, one thing that I can do is I can have the artwork there. So if I put the artwork for this podcast, so if somebody's watching it online or using an app on a device, they would have that artwork there while it's playing in the background. So you may want to do that. That's up to you. So I'm just going to do an MP3 encoder for now, though. I don't have any artwork, and MP3 is going to work with what I want. I know my end product needs MP3. So I'm going to click Export. And it says it will not export as an enhanced podcast, and so I will only pretty much have an audio file. So that's what you have to decide. If you just want an audio file, do MP3, and then I'm going to click Continue. Now I have to title it and decide where I'm going to place it. So I'm okay with Trial Run 4. I'm going to place it on my desktop. You'll want to title it depending on what you have. Now because this was a very short thing, you saw that it's already done. So it already exported my file. So if I close this out and I look, and here's my trial run. So if I click play, and now it's just recording. Now I can hear that MP3, the podcast I just created. So you have to decide if you want AAC versus MP3. AAC will be a little higher quality of a file, but you also put more stuff into it. But AAC files are not. They can't be played back by every device or every format. So that means that if you're embedding it onto a website, you may have to think about what type of file it's going to accept, or you create both of them and see what works best.